want to talk about today is the new social site called Mastodon. I don't know if you have heard of this site yet or not. There is a new social network out there called Mastodon. And what they want to do is they are trying to basically be a different version of Twitter is what they're trying to go after. So Twitter is a social media site that allows you to basically post information and connect with people all over the world in real time. So it's not about what did happen, it's about what is happening. It's a very real-time network. And it's a very open network. So when you sign in and you get a Twitter account, you have access to connect with people all over anywhere in the world that have a Twitter account as well. So it's very, very open. That does make it nice. That's one of the reasons a lot of people like Twitter, especially in the marketing world and information world, because you can connect with people and see things from all over the place. So a great way to use Twitter, in fact, personally, is for the news. If you see a big news story, jump on Twitter and you can find people in the moment taking pictures and video, sharing what is happening. So you don't have to wait for CNN to get the news and get their news crews out there. You can talk to people real time in the moment of a major breaking news. So it's a great way to get the news and to be able to connect right in directly with people. So Mastodon is trying to do this because one of the challenges that Twitter has is it's huge. The goal of Twitter is you have to learn how to parse that information down, get to what you want to see, and focus on that stuff and just ignore the rest unless you want to jump in and look at something else. So the key for Twitter is how do I get my information down to just who I want it to be, who I want to see, what is my feed that I want to be able to track. So not look at everything, but just look at the stuff that I want to see. So Mastodon's trying to solve this a little bit. One of the things that Mastodon has done that's a little bit better is make their system somewhat easier to use than Twitter. Twitter has not been good notoriously at making it user-friendly. The other thing is a lot of bullying goes on Twitter. There's a lot of trolls, those kinds of things that happen. And so Mastodon's trying to get rid of some of those things and help be better at preventing a lot of negativity. So there's some great things that they're doing. So let me show you. I'm going to pull up just to give you so you guys can see this. I've got Mastodon pulled up on my iPad, so you can take a look at this. So on here, you can even see the reflection of my screen. On here, what they've done is they've got this set up to where it's a lot like TweetDeck. So if you think of the Twitter app TweetDeck that they bought several years ago and have been modifying, it's a lot like that, where you've got some different tabs on the top. You've got this stream of information. On my iPad, I'm using it through the browser. It looks all one big thing, but often when you're on a regular browser, it breaks into columns like TweetDeck. So that's exactly what it looks like. So when you jump into Mastodon, there's one thing that's apparent right off the bat is there's not just one Mastodon social network. So this is basically a distributed network. So what that means is when you go to mastodon.com to try to sign up, there really isn't one. Mastodon.cloud is a very major one to jump onto. But what happens is when they built Mastodon, it grew quickly. People adopted it really fast. And it grew so fast that they couldn't get the servers to go fast enough to scale it out. So what they did is they distributed it onto GitHub. And not GitHub, but Git, excuse me. And so you can get out there and you can grab instances. You can make your own version of Mastodon. So that's one of the things that's very different from Mastodon versus Twitter, is you actually have the opportunity to create your own version of Mastodon, basically. And so it's called an instance. There's tons and tons of instances that are out there. So if you think about it, Twitter is one instance, and it's everything worldwide in Twitter. And then we use hashtags and we use searches to parse that down to get to where we want it to be. Well, on Mastodon, what they use is what's called an instance. And so if you don't want to be in one of the main feeds of Mastodon, but you want a more narrowed down or scaled down feed of certain people, maybe in a location or around a certain topic, you can create an instance on a server that you control and have your own version of Mastodon that people can subscribe to and see. So that's one way that a business could use it, is if you're in an industry that requires a lot of education or a lot of touches with people, then maybe consider building an instance for your industry and get all those people to come in and advertise it among people on your industry, so that it becomes a bit of a news feed for industry and industry insiders. So think of it similar to like you would if you're building a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, something like that, so that you're trying to create a smaller sub-network for the key people that you want to be able to connect with. So that's one way you could build an instance for Mastodon to help you out. So if you guys have questions as we go along today and we're talking about using Mastodon, let us know. We'd love to answer any questions that you have to help you understand how to do it. So there's tons of instances, and I'll show you on here. If you look up here, if you go to the website is instances.mastodon.xyz. That is where you'd want to go. And what it is it allows you to look at all of these instances. So these are the instances that you see here. These are the names of them here. It says how many users are on there, how many posts they've had, and so forth. So as you go through here, you can see there's tons and tons of instances. So it's a free network, it's distributed, there's no one company behind it that's gonna, for monetization or things, is anybody can open up a new version of it and run. So you can subscribe to these instances and see that information. So that's one way that you can use Mastodon to help you out. Another way that you can consider with Mastodon is inside their news feed. Let me see if I can pull this up. So here is one instance that I have been able to put together. And I didn't build this one. This is wellness.co. So this is one that deals with corporate wellness that these guys built just a couple days ago. But if you notice, sorry, I'm getting some good screen glares there. You can see our cameras too. There's different kinds of feeds. So on Mastodon, what we have is a local feed and what's called a federated feed. And those are two different types of feeds. When you do a local feed, so a local feed is the posts of all of the people that that are connected in that instance. That is what it is. So what it is the local feed is just the people that are there for that specific instance. So wellness.co, their instance, if I hit local, would just show the people that are connecting to them through their instance. Okay, so that's a local feed. So that's a way to parse it down so you're not getting everything that's out there. Then you have what's called the federated feed. The federated feed allows you to connect with not just the people in your instance, but all the people that they are connected with. Their feed gets dumped in here as well. So it's a much broader way to see more people. It's not everything on Mastodon, thankfully, but it is a bigger network. So if you jump onto, say, another one, here is mastodon.cloud. Here's an instance that I put together on Mastodon. Or I jumped out with mastodon.cloud. And let me see if I can get it. So this is their instance on here, and you can see it's constantly updating, constantly getting new stuff happening on there. So there's a lot of new feeds, a lot of new things that are going on here. There's tens of thousands of people on this feed on Mastodon, and just lots of things that are happening. So there's a lot of activity on this type of a feed. So when you jump into Mastodon, what you want to do to get an account is go to like mastodon.cloud, mastodon.social, I think is another one. You can go find these feeds, jump on them, and then start looking through content. The challenge that you do have on Mastodon is they do not have a really good search feature. And what that means is you can't go to Mastodon and type in a certain keyword and find all the posts on Mastodon that are about those. So you want to just realize that that's not very good. But hashtags are searchable. If you tap on a hashtag in a post, you can then pull up all those posts that use that hashtag. So hashtags are used in Mastodon. Furthermore, original reason they were used for is make things more searchable and easier to search. So that's a great way to use Mastodon is look at those hashtags, and if you've got some good hashtags around your business, then that would be good. So you can follow people, you can see a little feed of the people that you follow. When they post, it comes into your personal feed. You can see notifications and status updates for people who liked your posts and those things as well. So it works similar to how a traditional social network would work. So for a business, if you wanted to use Mastodon for your business, and in my opinion, there's not enough on Mastodon right now, not enough activity. I would say concentrated at least enough to make it worth most businesses to be on. But if you're a large company, if you are a content creator, anybody like that, then you're obviously going to want to be on Mastodon because it's more eyeballs. If you're running the news, if you're building content, you want to be an influencer, then you're obviously going to want to jump on Mastodon and get that first mover advantage to be one of the first people in your industry that's on it. So if that is a huge advantage to you and your business, to having that first mover position, then be on Mastodon. Go get an account, start playing around with it. Jump on different instances to get different types of audiences. Those kinds of things would help you out. So those are good ways to use it. While you are there, consider using hashtags to connect with people and to share certain types of content out and have those hashtags go out. And then you can use those to pull conversations together as well. So if you have a product that you're selling on the internet and you just need lots and lots of people to see it and connect with your product and want to just get more eyeballs for it, especially if you can sell international, then it might not hurt to be on Mastodon to connect with people and then just use it as a way to distribute your product more, get more links to your videos or your website or your Amazon account or wherever you want to send that traffic to. So you can do that. That's another way to get more happening. You can share pictures on Mastodon as well. I don't know if I can find a good, here's a couple of, well, that's just let's see. No, that wasn't a good picture. I'll see if I can find one that comes up. So if you're on there and you're seeing that screen, those screens come up, you can send pictures and so forth, have links to different things in your posts on Mastodon. So just consider those things. If you are a very local business, like a restaurant, a local cafe, or like an HVAC business or plumber or something like that, where you rely on people within a specific distance around your business that you can do business with, most likely Mastodon is not going to be something you want to jump on yet. It's just there's not enough local people to jump on. There's not enough to warrant the time and effort to put into it for you to be there. So don't worry about it. If you're one of those local businesses, there's not a lot there yet for you. If you just want to jump on because you're curious and want to see it, go ahead. By all means, jump on as a user and check it out. But as a business, most of the eyeballs are not local. Most likely these are people from all over. Like you can see in this feed here has a huge influence. Let me see if I can get it where you can see that. A huge influence with Japanese and Chinese. So if that's the market you're going after, then you've got a good audience here. You can connect with those people and do more in helping them see your products and services. But if that's not who you're going after, then you want to really think about this. So if you are in an industry that needs a lot of education and you want to go after technology people or people that need software or help or those kinds of things, and you do it, then consider maybe building an instance of Mastodon on a server that you have. Now, in order to build an instance of Mastodon, you need to make sure that you have a server that you can run, whether that's a server you've got yourself, whether you jump onto AWS or Rackspace or other servers. Google has theirs as well. So jump on a server, have that instance put together. You're going to want to get into GitHub. You want to get into to get the code to put that instance together and connect it in. So you're gonna, if you don't understand all those terms that I just used, then you're probably not going to want to build your own instance of Mastodon. You got to be a little techie to do it. So, but if you do have that knowledge and expertise, or know someone that can help you put that together and make it work, and you're in an industry where there's a lot of you can work with people from all over the world, you can connect with folks, there's a lot of education in what you do, then maybe building an instance around a specific topic or an industry might be a good idea, so that you can use it in the long run. As more people connect with it, maybe you can use it as an opportunity to not just post and share with people, but actually create an opportunity for it to be a source of information for your industry. So that's another way that you could use it. So outside of those ways, there's just not a ton of cool bells and whistles and features and new things you can run on Mastodon. I haven't seen any ad networks or anything plugged in. I don't know if we will. The other challenge you'll have with dealing with any new social media site. So this is just part of the inherent risk of trying to jump on be a first mover on a social media site that's brand new, is sometimes they don't work. In order for a social network to be really successful, they have to have user adoption. They've got to get a lot of people there to use it. So they're looking for specific types of content, or very creative people, or people that are influencers, to help front load those networks and get people on. Sometimes they are free up front, and then they have to charge you a fee in the back end, later on to make it sustainable. Sometimes they do ads to make it sustainable. There's a lot of different things they do to try to keep themselves running and to keep the doors open. But it doesn't happen all the time. Some of you might remember there was a social network that actually just closed down this last January called app.net. App.net was designed to be another version of Twitter. In a way, it was designed to help you parse Twitter and find some ways of using all that huge amount of data that comes from Twitter in a different way that might be better for you. Well, they closed down. They're gone. So there's Peach, there's all kinds of social sites that jump out. They think they're going to do a good job, and either they just can't get the adoption, something happens and they fall apart, or they, like right now in social networking, the big thing you got to realize is when you come up with a really cool feature, the other competitors are going to find out what you're doing and then build that feature too. So Snapchat is running into this problem right now because Facebook and Instagram have been copying the heck out of them. So we'll see. Snapchat users they're not gaining a lot of new users. Facebook and Instagram are definitely capitalizing on it. So they might be consuming Snapchat, and so we'll see if Snapchat sticks around or not. But that's the thing you got to realize is sometimes these sites work and sometimes they don't. So if you're going to put the time and investment into it as a business, look at it from a standpoint of a business expense. If you want to jump in personally and just play around with it casually and see if you can find some opportunities for your business, that's fine too. Go ahead and do that. But if you're not, then what you want to do is make sure you take the time to understand, if we're putting money into this as a business, let's make sure that we can tie it to opportunities for our company. Whether that's customer service, whether that is generating new sales and new leads for your business, whether that's increasing our branding and exposure in the industry, whatever it is that's going to bring value to your business, make sure you can identify that before you put a lot of time and effort into it. So that's what we like to do, is jump in on these social networks and try them out and see what they're like. And then for our clients, we make sure if it's a good value, we're going to dump them onto it and say, hey, we're going to put you on this new social network. We think there's some value in here for you, and we're going to run with this. If we don't think it's value, then we don't put our clients on it. So we monitor these kinds of things for our clients so they don't have to worry about it. So there's an update on Mastodon. If you take time to jump on Mastodon, let us know. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you on your experience using Mastodon. So far, it's been a pretty positive experience for me in using it myself. So if you want to find me, I'm on mastodon.cloud, motivatorhow.mastodon.cloud, I believe is how you do it. That's the other thing you got to think about. When you search, you can't just search for a hashtag. You also got to search for the instance that they're using as well. So if you could have the same person, but you could have the same username, but because it's a different instance, they could be different people. So you've got to realize that you've got to think about that too. So it's a little bit different than Twitter. You got to think a little bit more on some of the things you do on it. But it is a new social network, and it is up and coming. We'll see with how Twitter is going, if this one takes off and becomes something that's awesome and really works well, or it doesn't. It might flounder and fall apart. So the jury's still out, but we will see. So if you want to check it out, Mastodon, odon.cloud is probably the best place to start, and look up Mastodon and try it out. So let us know if you have other questions on online marketing. Would love to help you with those as well. Use our hashtag SMRTTV. Would love to hear from you on those as well. Thanks everybody for being on and joining with us today.